One of the questions that not sure you would call it interesting or just weird in some ways is a question that I got a lot during television appearances and interviews. Namely, do I feel more male or female being intersex? When your physical configuration, to put it that way, is male and female, and you have lived, or at least starting as a child, you're basically told, okay, you're a boy. So, what does it mean to you? What does that? How does it affect you? Because if looking back, was it really that I felt male? Did I feel like a boy and not like a girl, or did I feel more like a girl and not like a boy, or you know, those questions? And then later when you grow up, you're an adult, when and the hormones and everything starts kicking in, and you're big now, and you're supposed to do this whole relationship thing and pick a side and all this stuff. Do you feel male or female? I've had a lot of time to think about that question, about feeling male, feeling female, feeling like a boy, feeling like a girl. And in the end, I guess it just doesn't mean anything to me. In the end, it's something where, when you logically think about it, you cannot feel like anything other than yourself. Because what would feeling male, what would it even be like? I mean, so you've got the requisite dangly bits, so you're male. Okay, sure. But feeling male? Like, I mean, if you're not reaching into your groin region, then you're definitely not feeling anything male. Um, to put it crudely. Because when I really think back to the past years, decades, at no point can I really say that, okay, I felt male or female or anything that I can point to that. As I would often say also during those interviews, is that, well, I mean, typical male female behavior. What is it even? When I look at my brothers, for example, like I've always been the technical person in the family. Of my siblings, like I was always the one who had to solve the computer issues. I was always the one helping my father with building stuff, handling power tools and everything. And I still do that, and I haven't changed in that regard. But I also like girly stuff. I mean, I've got no problem with that. It's just that whatever works for you. I haven't, as far as I can tell, I haven't really changed since I was a child. I've always just gone my own way, done my own thing. Um, if you feel comfortable wearing something, then you wear that. And to say that, okay, I mean, this whole societal thing with societal roles, the gender role thing, as they call it, where depending on your genital configuration, you're not allowed to wear certain clothing types with certain colors or patterns because that is not appropriate. But then if you're in a different culture, then suddenly it changes completely again because, like, sure you can do that, but in the end, if feeling female means that you're allowed to wear a skirt, Western societies, but then if you say that you're feeling male, then you're not allowed to anymore, then it's weird. Unless you live in Scotland or something, then suddenly it's really manly. And like this whole gender role thing doesn't make any sense. And I think that the worst thing really about that whole thing is what I also noticed when I tried to make sense of it as an intersex person. You know, when I got to the point where they were telling me, okay, you have to choose. Like, you cannot be intersex, you must be male or female. And for me, as an intersex person, that was really one of those, was the most difficult question that I could put in front of. And because it gets, basically, it gets told to you as a binary question. Do you feel male? Do you feel female? Do you want to be male? Do you want to be female? Which genitals do you want to have removed? Because in the end, that's what it came down to. I mean, for me as a hermaphrodite, like I've got at least partially, I've got genitals both sides, so male and female. Like, what does that even mean for me? I mean, it's just it's how I was born. It's how I grew up. Like, how do I feel? I feel like myself. I don't know. Like, is anyone going to tell me what that's supposed to what's supposed to be normal? Like, when you have a body like mine, then like nothing about it makes sense. Absolutely makes no sense whatsoever. And I think that people are even talking about that whole thing about what is normal, what feeling female, feeling male, what it even is supposed to be like, or feeling neither. Like, I mean, you are an individual. I am my own person, and I can only feel like me. Like, well, I mean, I like this person I am, this collection of memories and experiences that I call myself. That's really all I am. And that's I mean, it will change, of course, as you gain more experiences, add more memories. But you are whatever the hell you are. You like to narrow people, individuals down to gender roles, to something as binary as your genitals, essentially, with male and female, or even if you want to go all fancy and pretend that gender roles are anything more than just a societal construct that just happened to form that way with no real rhyme or reason, then just in all the years that I have had to think about it and had to deal with that and had to answer those questions about what it means to me as an intersex person to be male or female, doesn't mean anything to me. I mean, like I've got an interesting body configuration. Okay, well, that happened. And I mean, sure, I could have accepted some kind of surgery and could have had entire organs removed. Just, yeah, sure. I could have said yes at a couple of points and gone along in a couple of the transgender thing that I got pushed into. I could have gone along with that, and they would have chopped off some bits, and then I don't know. Then I would have been normalized because I would have had only one type of genitals, and I would have been normal and happy. I don't think so. I think that's what I've learned at the end of all of those years. Is that the only way to be really happy is to really learn who you are, you as a person, that you learn to understand and love yourself. Because if you cannot accept this person you are, this collection of memories and experiences, then what what does it even mean to get all kinds of surgeries? Like you can have your body chopped up and stuff injected and things enlarged or made smaller or whatever, tuck that skin back, whatever. If you don't like yourself as a person, then none of that matters, because in the end you have to like yourself. And to narrow this down as something as obscene as a gender role, like you can only be happy if your body is like this, if you live in this gender role, if that is really what you're going for. When I had my official gender changed from male to female, that was primarily because I was getting so incredibly sick of having to explain to people, especially in waiting room when my name was called, having to explain to people why I don't look like a mister. Because that gets really tired really quick, and it's so much easier to just be a Mrs. Because nobody questions that, and to me, that made me happier. But it have to change for that. I got some testicles chopped off, which I wasn't using anyway, which turned out to be underdeveloped. So I don't miss anything there because they weren't doing anything to begin with. So that was because of that's law at the time that was required. So you get it done, and then you get your official gender changed, and then you can be a Mrs. officially. And then you don't have to explain anything anymore to people, and basically your life gets easier, and that makes you happier. And you didn't really have to change anything. I just had to get rid of something that I wasn't using, which was kind of there, and which I wouldn't have missed anyway. So fair trade. But that is really as far as I want to go in that regard, because I mean, like I could still go further with surgery. Like I still could currently the female reproductive side, it's there, or at least vagina is there. You could have it opened. I mean, I would be okay with that, to have it opened to make it actually usable instead of still having it closed off like today. But it doesn't affect me as a person, because that is something that's, I mean, it would be interesting. I would be fine with that, but if it never happens, so be it, because I will still be me. I will still be the same person. So, I mean, there are some memories that I will not have that way, but I'm sure I'll be fine without that, because there are way more important things in life, things that really make you happy. So, what does it mean to be male or female? Um, I don't know. I mean, yeah, having those, yeah, specific genitals. Wow, like wow. I don't know, gender roles, weird stuff. I guess that for me as an intersex person, in the end, I found my place in that by going for, well, picking a path that offers the least amount of resistance, so that I can be the happiest, because then I don't have to deal with this whole nonsense of gender roles and the constant explanations about, oh my god, I'm intersex, and that's why every database out there has stuff in there that confuses people, and what am I going to do with this? So it's really, but when I look back on it, on all those years, it's really like the answer was so incredibly simple, but it still took me so long to figure that out. Why is it complicated? Because the people around you are completely confused about it. When the answer is basically gender roles are made up, and sex is just something that happens. Like you have a specific configuration of your genitals, and hormones and stuff happens during development, and you've got lots of possibilities there. Stuff happens, and you just make the best of it, as any person does, because we are all individuals and we all have an individual life. We are not some kind of automatons who gets churned through this maze where, okay, sometimes you get split off and you have to select now, okay, you want to go left, you want to go right, you want to go male, female, what do you feel like? I mean, choosing what kind of job you want to perform, choosing what makes you happy in life. Okay, do you want a kitten? Do you want to get a dog? Are you a dog person? Or do you like cats more? Those are questions where you could say, okay, sure, reasonable. Which colors make you happy? Differs per person because you are an individual. To say that, oh, you happen to have those dangly bits, so you are not allowed, the punishment of public shame, to like these colors, or to like putting nail polish on your fingernails, or to wear a skirt, even though it can be really comfortable, like during the summer, like, I don't know, but to limit individual freedom based on something that is essentially completely made up with social norms and gender roles, and to enforce that through this concept of gender identity, which people also like to pretend is a real thing, because we hear it all the time. And for me, as an intersex person, when I'm confronted with a term like gender identity, it means as little to me as the question of, do you feel more male or female, means to me. It means nothing. Because in the end, what is your identity? Your identity is you as a person, you as an individual. You are not a label, you are not some kind of category. You're not defined by, I don't know, skin color or whatever attributes you just happen to be born with. Because that is just wrong, to define people like that, to discriminate people based on physical characteristics. You don't do that, because it doesn't define the person. In the end, it doesn't mean anything, and you can actually really harm a person by discriminating them like that, because nobody picks the body they're born with. It's something that just happens. The body you grow up with, it's something that's, I mean, I didn't choose this. Like, like I can say that I'm happy, unhappy with my body. Sure, I could. Sometimes I do. But in the end, this is the body you have. This is the body you grew up with. Your memories, your experiences are with this body. So what are you going to do about that? To get surgery, pretend it never happened? Or do you just accept that it happened and that it shaped you as a person? That it is part of your identity? I'm not here to tell people what they should do, feel, or think, because in the end, that is just your individual freedom. Just as it was my personal freedom to decide those things, to decide about this path in my life. And I think that everybody should have that freedom, as long as they understand what it really means to know yourself, to respect yourself, to accept yourself. Because those are the things that are essential if you really want to be an individual and to be happy. Because if you don't know yourself, if you don't know your own individuality, then how can you be happy? If you define happiness as something that is externally defined, like being female or male, you won't find happiness there. I can tell you that. So I have been there, got confused by it, and figured out what really matters, which is, in the end, I mean, as cheesy, as cliche it sounds, like, you must learn to really love yourself, because in the end, that is the only thing. You are the only person you'll know forever. You are the only person that you really need to get to know, because there's no getting away from yourself. And that's why I question, like, do you feel male or female? It's in some ways really kind of insulting, I guess. Because it doesn't matter. It distracts from the real question, which is, do you like yourself? And do you know yourself? How do you get along with yourself? So that, to me, this that's really what it comes down to for me. So I hope it was somewhat informative and useful, and answers perhaps a couple of questions. And well, thank you for listening, and the next time.